Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. The upcoming conversations are nothing more than the ridiculous opinions of a dropout and a guy dumb enough to be friends with him. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know, this ain't for everybody. Welcome to Savagely Loud. What's happening, people? Welcome back to the show. I'm glad you're back with us. I'm glad to be back with you. I'm Cliff. I'm your host, and I'm joined today and always by my lovely, wonderful, sexy co-host, Mikey Wold. How are we doing today?
I am doing good, man. I don't know how you could not be doing good after hearing that disclaimer. Yeah, let's ready. Get ready to kick some shit off, man.
Guys, the whole point of the show is to, we've each lived through some shit. We've taken the notes on the way through, and we want to offer that experience, that wisdom, that advice to other people to get them living a little earlier than we did, because we didn't start living till we were half dead, feels like. So we just want to put out topics, real topics, the reality behind the world, so that people can think about this, because there's a big thing right now where everybody wants to accept certain realities, but not all realities. And if you're not going to accept all realities, I mean, think about it. If you're going to run from the realities that surround you, what are you running? What realities are you running from that are within you? So we want to break down these barriers. We want to break down these walls of conversation and talk about the shit we really are not supposed to talk about. Talk about gender, talk about sexuality, talk about employment, talk about race, talk about everything that we can talk about, and talk about it in deep ways that don't ever get spoken about. Even when we hear this shit being mentioned by the big names out there, they tend to go soft on it because they know they have a fan base to please. They know they have adverts to please. They know they have bosses and all these other people to please, so they go soft on the shit. Guys, we don't have anybody to go soft for, and I really honestly feel like we owe it to the fucking people of this country and this world to not go so soft anymore. And that's going to lead us into the exact topic that we're in today, which is the silent majority. But before we get to that, we like to start the show out with this little segment called The Daily Drag. It's just something something stupid that got you pissed off, then got you laughing. What you got for us, Mikey, for your Daily Drag?
So, this topic, everyone can relate to it at some point in time, multiple times. It is when you're trying to act cool, trying to act slick, and you look like a fucking dumbass at the end. So,
story of my life.
Not but a few days ago, I come up, I go downstairs, I let the dog out, I make some coffee, I'm in my robe, and I'm coming up the stairs, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at me, I got my robe on, I got my coffee, look at me, all fancy, and my fucking robe gets caught in the door handle, and I spill my coffee. So, total fucking flub. Womp, womp, womp.
So, hold on. But I'll give you one of my own that's very similar. But before we get to that, let's talk about the notion that you were combining the idea of looking cool and wearing a robe at the same time.
Dude. Hey, that's who I am.
Who the fuck are you? You Hefner? You gonna come down in your smoking PJs?
Yep, man. I got, it's my silk robe, all that.
Oh my God,
shit.
and it's silk too. Oh, what?
No, it's a flannel one, man.
Okay. But I'll tell you what. I have worn a silk robe. Nothing made me more scared that I wanted to put something in my ass than wearing a fucking silk robe. I'm just going to be honest with you. I felt gayer than shit when I put on a silk robe. However, when I put on one of those big fluffy flannel robes, I felt like I just wanted to grab a fucking box of tissues and go watch a rom-com on the couch. So there's really no happy balance for me when it comes to robes.
No, and this was a big fluffy flannel one. Like, fuck it, man. I'm going to enjoy my shit. I'm going to fucking sit upstairs, drink my coffee, and just fucking chill.
Yeah. So here's my one on that one. So this one, we're going to go back to high school on this one. We went to Warren Township High School in Gurnee, and I had the world's biggest crush on this one girl, Christy Winandy. Yeah, I'll fucking name her. I don't care. I was in high school. It's 25 years ago. But I had the world's biggest crush on this girl, and I really don't know why, but there was something there. I happened to come into the hallway where you go up the stairs, and I looked up the stairs, and I saw her like coming up to the top of the stairs. So I was like, I'm going to be Johnny fucking cool. I'm going to go bolting up the stairs. I'm going to fucking make that round, turn that fucking corner, bounce up the fucking stairs right in front of her and show her how fucking badass I really am. So I did. I attacked those stairs like a fucking alligator or a crocodile on a wounded wildebeest, man. I was on that shit. And as soon as I got right next to her, as I was running, I should have realized what I was actually wearing for pants that day. If you guys will go back to the late 90s, you'll remember shiny Lee pipes. Gigantic fucking bottoms. They were shiny black pants. They were fucking awesome. Well, as I got right next to her, my right leg got caught in my left leg, pant leg, and I went down hard as fuck. Every single thing that was in my hand was scattered like glitter on the highway. Everything that was in my bag, it had to be the one time I didn't have it zipped up, so all of that shit came out over my head. It was one of the most embarrassing fucking days of my life. Yep. But it's one of those ones where you just like, you're like, man, that's kind of awesome when you look back at it.
Yep.
I laugh about it still.
I remember like senior year at Albany campus. We were getting off the bus. It was probably junior year then. Getting off the bus, we were like in the near back of the bus. I fucking slid down the bus stairs all the way to the fucking ground. I mean, what do you do after that? You're all right, nothing happened.
Yeah, you play Johnny Cool. You take short breaths to nurse your broken rib until you can get around a corner where nobody can see you, and then you cry your balls off. Yep. Oh shit, yeah, guy. If I would have thinking back, man, on some of these situations like that would fit totally perfectly into the daily drag. I just think if I would have just stayed quiet, I'd have been okay. If I'd have just not done that, I'd have been okay. But then again, if I would have stayed quiet instead of trying to like make my move and take my shots, I might have ended up being part of the contributing factors to what has the world in the state of affairs that it's in today. That's what we want to talk about, is the silent majority. Guys, we look at the state of affairs in the world today, in our country especially, and we're in shambles. Like I never in my life. Now I was a strong pessimist for a long time. I was super negative. Everything, nothing was ever going to be good enough. If I didn't have it now and then you gave it to me, I'll be mad that you didn't give it to me earlier. Nothing was ever going to be good enough. But now I'm gotten to this place of like this hopeful vision of the future of humanity in the world. And I look out over humanity in the world and society, and I just see, I get disgusted. I'm going to be fucking honest with you. I get fucking disgusted when I look at the behavior of society today, and every little thing, every major thing, it all, I feel, stems back to this whole notion of this silent majority. Are you familiar with the idea of the silent majority, Mikey?
Yeah. It's keeping you satisfied with not speaking because you feel like you can't speak because you're the only one that feels that way. Now, I could be thinking wrong, but I mean, that's the way I look at it.
So the way I'm the
only one that feels that way.
The way I see it is it's more of a psyop given to us by the government. Now, in all of my previous research, this is an interesting thing that you'll find. In all of my previous research on this topic, it actually pointed to John F. Kennedy mentioning it in a book, this silent majority, in a book in the late 50s. But now all the fucking research you find, it was only Nixon. Nixon was the only one that fucking said it. Everything in JFK's book wasn't it, blah, 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 blah. So we'll start there. We'll just go for the sake of fucking argument because you can't find all the information, the real information. So JFK on November 3rd of 1969 gave his speech naming the silent majority. And in that moment, massive, massive amounts of America felt noble. When he said you're the silent majority, everybody felt this nobility because they were now part of a team. See, before this speech, they had nobody. They weren't on a team. They weren't part of a tribe. They were nomads, or they were in no man's land, and they were just marching alone. But as soon as Nixon came out and he fucking publicly gave them a club to be in, the silent majority, all of a sudden, this notion that I wasn't speaking up now becomes noble. It's a noble endeavor to not speak out against things. It's a noble endeavor to keep my opinions to myself. And the problem within that is that just eventually spiders onto a lot of other shit. Like, excuse me, like fucking political correctness, another psyop to get people to shut the fuck up. Self-censorship, another fucking psyop. And then cancel culture. Like, where did cancel culture all this? You can be canceled as a human being. I didn't think that being in America, having this First Amendment and the Second Amendment, I didn't think that we would be able to fall so quickly to the notion that we shouldn't be speaking.
They've done a good job, man. I mean, all of this started way back when. So it probably did start with JFK, or probably way before him.
Could very well have.
They do it little by little. That's how they're turning us into fucking what we are now. They didn't do it overnight. They did it little by little. Hey, you can't speak that way because you're going to hurt that person's feelings.
Right.
Okay. All right. I'll be careful for that person. Oh, but now you don't want to hurt this other person too. Well, and he gradually did it. And now it's just a fucking shotgun, and it's sad. I mean, you can't say anything.
Well, the problem...
You can't say anything anymore.
Yeah, you really can't. And we're going to get into the Zuck thing pretty soon here, because I want to fucking talk about that. Speaking of not being able to say anything. But anyway, here's the problem, though, is that in this process, this transitional period of quieting down and calming our voices, we lost focus on the true principle of the freedom of speech and the necessity for it. Because yes, even myself, okay, let me out myself, right? I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because I go on the internet and I see a lot of people fucking bitching about the state of affairs. Now, I really don't like listening to somebody bitch about the state of affairs unless it is followed by a solution. The silent majority, where they fell off, is they had the solutions. They stopped talking. And because they stopped talking, we never got the conversation that led to the solution coming out onto the table. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. And I would say, to add on to that, like, whoever's pulling the strings, they've done a damn good job. Because even the people in the silent majority, they're at each other's throats.
Well, if you want to manipulate... I'm sorry, go ahead. I'll cut you off.
Oh no, I was gonna say, like, with the media and all that stuff, like it's unfortunate, and they've done so good at just making everybody pissed off at each other. You can't be a silent majority. You can't be a fucking majority if all you're doing is pissing off everybody.
Right.
You're arguing with your silent majority people. You're messing with the minority people. You're just messing with everybody. Yeah. Because they told you to.
Well, that's like, I mean, to manipulate people is so easy, and it all falls back to the manipulation tactics. There's a lot of metaphors for it. I'm a particularly big fan of the dog in the chain, If you take one link out of that fucking chain every so often, the dog doesn't even notice his leash is getting shorter. Next thing you know, he's wrapped up to the tree, and he doesn't even know how it happened. But if you fucking just go out there and fucking strap him to the tree, he gets pissed off and he fights back. Well, that's been the entire fucking process of the manipulation, demoralization of the American people, is we get you dumber, okay? So this is where it is. We get you dumber, and then you work, and because you don't know how to do anything. You don't question anything like that. And one of the brightest things, one of the best things, if you can make your populace fucking stupid, you can make them angry. The dumbest people on earth are the most easily angered. The smartest people I know very rarely get really angry, and they've never, ever, almost never blow off. Like, they always think about the things they're going to fucking say before they say it, and they think about their reactions. They don't just have this visceral, emotional fucking outburst. But in the process of demoralizing people and stupefying people, we've made them easier to be angered. And now we're in a situation, because of the silent majority never speaking up against this shit or about this shit, we're in a position now where everything makes people angry. Look at my my content. My content pisses people off. I get messages at least weekly from somebody fucking telling me that I don't know what I'm fucking talking about, and I shouldn't be putting that on everybody, because all I do is fucking tell people to be better and how to fucking solve their problems that therapists won't teach them how to fucking solve, because, well, they, their daughter needs a BMW for her 16th birthday so she can fit in with the kids at school. So they got to keep the fucking people coming back to therapy all the time. But it's incredible how anything and everything will make people mad nowadays. And win. And then what's even better is you ask them, this is how good their plan worked. Their plan, you ask these especially younger people why they're so mad about something, and they have no fucking idea.
Nope.
They have no fucking idea why they're out there protesting for Palestine or for Israel, for women's rights, for trans rights. They have no idea why the fuck they're doing this. All they know is that they've been told to be angry and told to be loud. So now they're going to go do that.
Yep. And I'm gonna touch on something here so the silent majority, I think that's a bullshit term. And I'm going to say it because of this. I don't think there is a silent majority. I think there's just silence. If I say I'm talking to the silent majority, everyone's going to internalize that and be like, yeah, I'm part of that silent majority. I'm talking to Republicans. I'm talking to Dems. I'm talking to independents. I'm talking to people who don't give a shit. I'm talking to bums, homeless, druggies, whatever. I think silent majority is a bullshit term that they throw out there so that way you feel like part of a bigger surface. If I'm part of the majority, then yes, it is even nobler to be quiet, because I'm the majority and I need to help the little people.
So let's break that down, because that's an interesting perspective, and I'm thinking about it now. So my first reaction is I want to disagree, but not on an animalistic level, just on an axiomatic level, because once the term majority gets used, there has to be a minority. And if there's a minority, there has to be a majority. Now, where I think you're really onto something is the idea that if I say the silent majority, if I'm doing a public access, whatever speech, and I say the silent majority, the great thing about that is everybody can associate with that. Now I'm part of the silent majority because I feel like macaroni and cheese is the best fucking dinner that an adult can have for the rest of their life. But I can't say that out loud because people will push back on me. So now I'm part of the silent majority. When in reality, the silent
I feel better about not talking.
Yes, now I feel noble. I feel noble in my cause for not talking. But the reality of it is they know exactly what they're doing. They're talking about the silent majority in that light, in that manner, because they know that every dumb motherfucker that doesn't have half a fucking brain to spare on any given day is going to be like, oh, yeah, that's me. And they know the reaction. They know the reaction, and the reaction is going to be fucking piss poor.
Yep. I mean, everyone does this. I mean, left does it, the right does it, the middle does it. Everyone's fucking guilty of it. Like, I go back a couple elections. It was the fucking silent majorities voting for Trump. Yep. Okay, great. The next one, the silent majority voted for Biden. Like, it's just such a loose, and it's the person that's talking. That's their target audience. That's the majority I'm talking about. But I can twist that word to mean whatever the fuck I mean to, because I can twist that to be whatever audience I want to.
Right. And you've even got people like these fucking douchebag cuck fucks and the fucking Antifa bitches. They're out there and they're associating themselves with the silent majority. You motherfuckers are on the street assaulting elderly women. What are you the silent majority about? Like, if you want to just lay that out for me, that'd be fucking wonderful, because I have no idea what the fuck you're associating yourself with. You are the pile of shit minority. That's what you are. You need to fucking put yourselves in that category to start understanding life and then unfucking your own.
Yep. Well, hey, man, they're a silent majority because they probably didn't vote because it didn't mean anything to them. And that's the majority of people they felt didn't vote too. Hey. I just burned a couple cities the other day, but yeah.
Well, and that's and I think about I think about just the whole notion of what this silent majority has caused and created. But I still listen to the boomers. Like, I still listen to people my dad's age, proud of it. I'm like, you don't understand. In the very same breath that you're saying you're proud to have been part of the silent majority, you're bitching about every single thing that silent majority has allowed to be created. This gender issue we have, where there's 167 genders suddenly, is a fucking issue stemming directly from the silent majority, directly from our fucking parents' failure to stand the fuck up and speak for something. All this shit with the violence in the cities, I challenge you to go on the south side of Chicago on the 1st of the month at 9 p.m. and think you're going to walk out of there alive. You're not going to fucking do it. It's not going to happen. And yet this is, again, another fucking problem created by the silent majority, because as the cities burned, what happened? When we go back to the 60s, the late 60s and the 70s, the cities were fucking burning from gang activity and just overall hooliganism. And what happened? We need to move. No, don't fucking stand up. Don't go fucking visit your city hall. Don't go fucking give a speech to the mayor. No, fucking move away. Well, guess what now? The cities have been so fucking overrun, and Chicago and the surrounding fucking suburbs is such a fucking good example of this. The cities have been so overrun with crime that good people don't want to live there. But now we're seeing that the criminal element is chasing the good people because they have nobody but themselves to rob anymore. Shitbags don't have anything worth stealing. That's why they're shitbags, and they're stealing from people that have stuff. So they're chasing they're chasing the good people into the suburbs. And now the suburbs are becoming fucking just gang territory. They're becoming battlegrounds. Go into Round Lake, Illinois. Round Lake Beach, Round Lake Park, Round Lake Heights. Go into any part of Round Lake. Go into fucking 99% of Waukegan. 100% of North Chicago is a fucking hellhole. It's a dangerous shithole at best. At best.
And nobody gives a fuck. I mean, that's right next door to all of us here in Lake County.
Well,
and nobody gives a fuck, because guess what? The silent majority has pussyfied everybody, because it's turned it into, I can't say anything. I can't fight back. I can't do what's right. I can't stand up for myself or anybody else, because if I do, I'm not that silent majority anymore, and I'm going to get ousted.
Well, here's the funny thing that you bring that up. I think that has a lot to do with the most recent culture that we've seen, and that's cancel culture. So we went from the silent majority, and then I think what happened was they started waking up a little bit, and then we had to usher in this idea of political correctness. You can't say black anymore. You have to say African American, even though they're not actually from Africa. Because I'm not called an Irish American or a German American or an English American. I'm called an American, a white American. You're called a black American. We started this, so we have to now do this. And then the silent majority again stayed silent, and it worked out for a minute. And it was okay for a minute, and then we started seeing things like affirmative action come in, and that's white erasure. That's them erasing white people from the workforce. That is them making race your criteria based on what you're going to do for a living. If you're this, you're going to do this. If you're that, you can do that. But you can't be this and that at the same fucking time. And it fucking, what happened? It flourished. Affirmative action flourished. Systematic racism against white people flourished because of the silent majority. Because all these motherfuckers thought it was so noble to not speak. And then they got into the political correctness. Then it became even more noble to learn all these new terms, like we don't say retarded anymore. Now it's mentally handicapped or mentally challenged. And then it becomes special needs. And pretty soon it becomes this and this and the other thing. And then you're going to be a fucking bigot and a hate monger if you say the old thing. It's part of the system. Then you move on to this self-censorship. So now you get well, I can't say anything. If I say Black American, they're going to get mad because I should have said African American. If I say this, if I say Jew, I should have said Jew. I can't say anything. I'm just not going to say anything. Now you're self-censoring. Now you're going to say, I'm fucking, you know what? I'm not a bitch. I'm not laying down. I'm not rolling over. I'm transcending the situation mentally. I'm going to be the bigger person, and I'm not going to say a fucking word about a fucking thing. Mm-hmm. When in reality, the only fucking reason that you ain't saying a fucking thing is to save your own ass from nothing. And that leads into the cancel culture thing. Because once we got through the self-censorship, it was cancel culture. People started waking up again a little bit, and now you're getting canceled. We've got 300, I think the latest number was 338 million in America, but let's call it 400 million in America because, they've been saying we have 11 million illegal immigrants since 2008 when Obama was using that number. And somehow we haven't gone up or down some, I don't know how, but let's just say 400 million people in America, not 400 million Americans, 400 million people in America. About 390 million of those are nobodies.
Exactly.
And every last one of them is afraid to stand the fuck up and say something because they'll get canceled. What are you getting canceled from? Like, what the fuck is going on in your life that you're so afraid to be canceled from? You don't have a social media following. You don't own any fucking major businesses or corporations. Nobody knows who the fuck you are. Who's canceling you? Get the fuck up, stand the fuck up, speak the fuck up, and be a goddamn adult about some shit and protect the liberties that you used to cherish as a child that you bitch today are fucking going away.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a good job, man. You look at, some of the big names that have fallen because of cancel culture, and everyone's guilty of it. Like, when Budweiser was doing the fucking one thing and everyone on the right was like, fucking cancel Budweiser. And it was like, what the fuck, dude? You're just bitching about canceling some fucking comedian, but yet you're doing the same fucking thing with the same amount of outrage and the same amount of passion. Go fuck yourselves. Everybody, go fuck yourselves. But they've made everybody scared because 3 big names fell. Budweiser fell. A few comedians, they fell from the fucking planet. Yeah, I mean, Roseanne. Yeah. Just fell from the face of the earth.
Well, and Paula Deen, like when she had that, as Bill Burr put it, that Holocaust-themed wedding or some shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's so sad. And the only thing that gives me some hope is that all that bullshit didn't work in November. Like, it wasn't working last year. And I don't want to get too political here because, again, I mean, everyone's fucking guilty of it.
We will eventually. Fucking take note, people. This is not the topic of the day.
Yeah, but, like, that movement, like, that kind of moment, like, it just seemed like everyone was just like, I'm sick of the bullshit. I'm sick of being scared. I'm sick of it. Like, and it came from all parties. It came from all directions. Left was like, I'm not scared of you guys. And right was like, I'm not scared of you guys either. So we'll just not be scared together.
Well,
and
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, in the media losing its power, its grip on everybody to keep everybody so pissed off at each other, that's starting to kind of loosen up too. So that, that silent part is starting to fade. It's still there, and it's still there a lot, but I think it's starting to lose some of its luster.
But I think, okay, so let's enter a little bit different perspective here. Mm-hmm. Let's go into imagination land here, and let's think about if cancel culture is starting to fail. Let's look at where that's leading us, okay? So cancel culture is starting to fail. People are getting less and less fearful of being canceled. Mm-hmm. But here's what's happening is there's a certain division that is happening within this process, because everybody's saying, oh, I'm not scared to speak up anymore. But they're not scared to speak up because they're making their own websites, or they're going to their own platform, or they're going here. So you're getting where you used to have a YouTube and a Spotify and an Apple Music or iTunes. You used to have these couple of places you could go and get everything. Now, dude, it's like you got to go all over the fucking place. Like, I'm sorry, guys, but if you want me to go to 12 different websites a day just to listen to your fucking show because you won't put it on Spotify, or you won't put it on iTunes, or you won't put it on some sort of normal fucking platform for me to listen to, I'm just not going to listen. I'm not going, because I feel in this, and I understand the method here. I really do understand the method here. But the problem is that I feel when, if I have to go to this guy's website and this guy's website and this guy's website and this guy's website, all different individual websites to go listen to these things, I feel like you're making me a bitch. I feel like you're fucking running me around like a little fucking kid, and I'm just like chomping at the bit to do whatever the fuck you tell me to. Put your content in a fucking place that I can find it easily, and I can find other things easily. Then I'm happy. And now I'm not saying that I won't go to people's websites. I do go to people's websites. But when we get to a situation where I've got to go website to website, I'm just like, hey, link to link, go fuck yourself. I'm going to Spotify. I'll just listen to music.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's one of those, like, social media. I fucking despise social media, but it's a necessary evil. So I'm partaking in it. The more I partake in something, the less evil it becomes to me. And I'm getting my message out there. We're getting our fucking message out there. And guess what? Maybe in fucking 25 years or so, if fucking social media isn't like it is now. Right. It's actually used for something.
Well, here's the thing about social media. And I do associate very deeply to an extent with your hatred of social media. And because I do, like, if you look at an overall, like just a broad spectrum view of social media, you do see what it does. It crushes people's spirits.
Yes.
People are not living their fullest lives because they feel like it's useless because, you're going to fucking die anyway. And 2 generations later, you're not going to be fucking known. That's the reality of it. So I'm just going to not do anything ever.
And so-and-so has a better life than me because they're doing X, Y, Z, and they have more than me. I've worked so hard. It's demoralizing. It's degrading. And that's at first, it didn't seem like it was like that at first. I thought social media at first was fucking great. It was a place to reconnect. It was to keep in touch with people that you normally wouldn't keep in touch of. Hey, God, this guy from high school. Fucking, yeah, man, sweet. What's up, dude? We connected again back on social media. Like, there is good, powerful stuff to it. But it's that humanistic aspect that just rots it to the core. Oh, yeah. Well, and social media up front to the masses was a good thing. It was a very sinister tool. So I don't know how much you know about this, but LifeLog was a government program. It was Facebook by the government. Oh yeah. And they said, and it was a surveillance system, and they said, well, we just give it to the people and they'll tell us what they're doing. And it didn't take off. Then all of a sudden, and it was literally the day after. Now I'm not exactly sure on the dates, but it was a January 3rd to a January 4th thing. January 3rd, LifeLog canceled its fucking trademark, and January 4th, Facebook applied for one. Okay. So this has been a government program. It's been a government fucking psyop all along. And if you ask me, it's half government, half thieves, because the thieves use it to track where the fuck you are, because all these stupid people have to tag themselves at the fucking pumpkin patch. Hey guys, look at us. Nobody's at our house with our expensive stuff. Ha 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 ha. Like, I never fucking tag I put pictures up after I get home, bitch. I'll put the pictures up. But so we've got millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of people just fucking inundating this system with information about what they're doing, what they like, what they're into, what they don't like, where they're at, where they're going, where they've been, where they work, we've got all of this shit, and we're just feeding the government all of our information.
then we come to a point where social media takes a shift because, like I said up front, it was good for the populace. We looked at it as a positive thing. I didn't actually. I'll be honest with you. I stood off social media until 2008 was when I joined it. I dealt with everybody fucking telling me that you got to be on this. Yeah, I can't believe you're not on this. You're not fucking part of the blah, 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 blah. Bitch, I never been part of the blah, 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 So, but I did get on it, and then I did find some value in it. I really did. I was able to connect with a bunch of people that still fucking hated me. I was able to fucking connect with some people that didn't, and I got to see things. I got to see what people were doing, and it was, it took that kind of, looking back, it did take the allure out of life. Like some of the fun about thinking about the people you went to school with is thinking about what they're doing now. And now that I can just go on my phone and know, it's not all that awesome anymore. Like it feels like there's no reason for reunions. You could just go to the bar, like it's. But anyway, we've got to this.
They can. I'm not.
Yeah, right. I fuck the bar. I don't do it. I am so fucking. I'm so good on not fucking drinking. Like, go have your fucking drinks. I'll sit over here doing real shit. You know what I mean? But so now the social media. Now we've gotten to we went from the point where it was a government psyop, but it was connecting people, and it was actually being used for a lot of positive things. When I first started social media, I wasn't in the most positive place in my life or time in my life, but I wasn't in the most negative by any means. And it did bring some joy. It did bring some happiness I got to go on there and I got to see people being happy. I got to see people getting shit they dreamed of getting, having kids and doing all this other shit and buying houses. And it was great. Sometime right around, I want to say 2012, it kind of, for me anyway, it kind of took a fucking shift where it became more of, it was less of a highlight reel, which I know we bitch about everything being a highlight reel now, but it was less of a highlight reel and it became more of a political podium for everybody that that shouldn't have had an opinion. And that's really what it was, is most people that were on, that became the person that was on these social media sites, Facebook, i.e., they weren't smart enough to actually have an opinion, but they were the ones that were espousing it. They were the ones that were just spewing it all over the fucking place. Uneducated ignorance just spewing all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
And if you ask me, I think it was part of the plan. I think it was part of the plan because Facebook was one of the biggest things that allowed the internet to get out of the control of the government. See, the government figured we could control this. Once it started becoming, the Al Gore started fucking talking about it, the government thought like, well, we can control this and then we can use it for our own benefit and our own benefit only. And we'll do this by disguising it as something that's beneficial and fun for other people. Well, as the internet, as Facebook got bigger and bigger and bigger, the government started realizing how fast information transitions from person to person. The government's whole fucking nest egg is built on the fact that they can control the information, the flow of information. When Facebook started getting really big, they stopped being able to control the flow of information. That's a problem. So that's when you started seeing the governments, the different world governments, all of them. They started approaching the social media platforms. I can see you got something to say. Say it, buddy.
Yeah, well, that's where censorship started creeping in. Like, hey, man, you really can't say that anymore. Yeah. Like, ooh, you shouldn't say that. That's misinformation. Like, yeah, it's like, oh, fuck, bullshit. And we just, again, they've done such a good job at doing things so slowly that nobody really cared or paid attention to it. People started caring around 2020. But again, not enough.
Right.
And they were just like, okay. But that's when they really cranked it up a notch. But I mean, they were already doing it way before that. Like, ooh, that was hate. Yo, somebody reported you for hate comments, so we got to ban you for a while.
Well, into 2019 and 2020 is where we started seeing the different terms, which became scary. It wasn't just misinformation. Now it was misinformation. It was malinformation. It was disinformation. It was what was that other fucking one? I forgot what the other one was, but it was really fucking good. It's kind of a combination of them all. It's just like, but it's part of the plan. So
Yes.
when Facebook started getting, out of control, the government making the internet and the exchange of information uncontrollable, government started approaching the platforms. The global government started approaching platforms and telling them, this is what you had to do. If you want to operate in this country, you have to do this. This is what we're not going to accept here. This is what we are going to accept. And this is this very small gray area that we're going to fact check. We're going to have people come in with no educations and no background in fact checking, and we're going to have them simply apply a label to your post based on their own personal views. That's how we're going to handle the gray area.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And coincidentally, all of the fact checkers are of hard left leaning,
Well,
hard left mentality.
That's who was in power, and that's who still is in power. Like, I mean,
well, is it?
I mean, we're gonna call a spade a spade. I mean,
is the left in power though? Because I don't.
Dude,
I think you've seen
there is no left and right anymore, dude. It's them.
I think it is them. There is a left and a right, but it is the same bird. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I gotta say, I don't know who's winning right now. I know the people are losing. Because anytime somebody that's fucking gigantically powerful does something that's beneficial to somebody, for the people, something's going wrong here. Something's up. And just recently, fucking Zuckerberg came out, and I had to process this, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. I had to sit back. I wanted to give a reaction right out of the gate, but I had to sit back. And the first thing I thought of doing was I sent it to a fucking group of my buddies on Instagram, and I was like, what do you guys think of this? And they had nothing positive to say about it, which I totally understood. But I sat and I processed this speech that Zuckerberg gave about how, we're going back to our roots, and we're going to open up free speech, and we're going to let you say transgender. We're going to let you say they're delusional. We're going to let you say gay is a mental illness. We're going to let you say all this. And my initial reaction, I'll be honest with you, is because I'm a normal person. I think we're all a normal person in the sense of we're just fucking tired of the rigmarole. We're just fucking tired of the bullshit. So anything that is a little less full of bullshit, we tend to gravitate to. Well, when I watched his little fucking speech, I gravitated to it a little bit. I felt myself kind of buying it. I was like, all right, maybe this is going to be our fucking time again. And there is a shred of me that does believe that tides are changing, because tides always change. I try very hard to not let myself become one of the people that is never happy. I try very hard to be one of the people that if I'm bitching about something for 15 fucking years, and then the guy that owns it changes what I'm bitching about, I look for some positivity in this new move. Unfortunately, what I'm seeing on the internet is everybody that was bitching about how it was not being excited about how it's going to be now, but now bitching about the fact that it was how it was. Like you if you're not going to be ever fucking happy with any fucking thing, dude, you're going to seriously lose a lot of fucking happiness in your own personal life. I understand the animosity here, because I've had ban after ban after ban. I've been shut down. I've been shadow banned. I'm still fucking shadow banned for some reason. And all I fucking do is tell people how to be better, or tell people to be better, or tell people, I should say, I tell people what I did to get me better that worked. And if you want to use it, fucking use it. And I still get shadow banned. Is the moment you say something they don't want to fucking hear, you get shadow banned.
Oh, I mean, I don't think that's ever going to go away. It's a big company. They're still being played by the government in some way, shape, or form. That's never going to go away. But, to those people, like, you can't beg and be pissed off for change. And then when you get change, be pissed off about that change. Like, what the fuck are you fighting then? Like, I hate my fucking bills. Rah, 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 rah. I'm so much in debt. I paid my bills. Great. Fucking why'd I have to pay my bills? Like, it's like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, you can't grow if you're going to resent and freaking repel any sort of change that comes your way.
I think a lot of it is so many people, especially on the internet, so many people have now built a living bitching about the negativity in America.
Yes.
When it goes away, they see their fucking livelihood going away. They see all of this shit slipping, this social media following that they've built, these paychecks that they're getting. They see all this shit slipping away when the negativity slips. So what do they got to do? They got to fire you up. They got to be a therapist now, except going the other way. We got to tear that Band-Aid off so that you keep coming back. We got to get you pissed off about something fucking else. And the reality of this is there is not a fucking solution to being angry. There's not a solution. You're not going to get all pissed off and then be like, oh, fuck, that's the solution. It doesn't happen that way. Because when you're angry, the only solution you come to is let's fucking kill everybody. And that's the answer of a lot of fucking people. And that's okay, because I do side with violence. Like I love violence. Don't get me wrong. Violence has solved a lot of fucking problems in the world, throughout history. In fact, I would argue that violence has solved significantly more problems than talking has solved.
Oh, for sure.
Significantly more.
Yes.
But now,
even the threat of violence, it's that, hey, man, you step out of line, I'm going to fuck your ass up.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're in a situation now, though, where we're not allowed to be violent. We have to talk. We have to just get into our emotions all the time, which is not a bad thing to get into your emotions. I get into my emotions, but there's a time and a place for it, and it's not all the time, and it's not always here. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's room for other solutions, but to just sit and fucking bitch over and over and over again about shit there is not a solution for, I don't know what it's doing to the quality of people's lives. I don't understand. Now, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of my friends that run podcasts. I listen to my friends that have big fucking social media pages, and they bitch a lot. But the difference is between my friends, the ones I consider in my circle, even if it's a distant circle, is that they provide solutions. They're willing to execute on those solutions. They're willing to talk about the solutions, and they're willing to have that discourse of, is that really the solution? And I keep going back to this violence thing, because I hear a lot of fucking people talking about this violence, like we need violence. And it's usually the older guys. I would ask all these motherfuckers that are out here that are talking about the only way to fucking take this shit back is to actually take this shit back, if you know what I mean. You got kids?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Civil War, does fighting Civil War with your fucking
really
kids, does that sound awesome to you? Does it really sound awesome? And I've asked this, and I get fucking same stupid bullshit. Well, you know what? Sometimes fucking people got to go through some shit if we're going to save the fucking world for the long run. Guess what? First and foremost, we're not saving the world for the long run. It's not going to fucking happen, because unless you got the money to buy the motherfucker, which you don't, you're not ever going to write the rules. You're just not.
Correct.
Anybody the people that own the world, which is fucking Israel and China, they make the rules. Israel and China make the rules, and everybody else abides by them. It's kind of like women and men. Men make the laws of business. Women make the laws of society. Men, when you go into a business, men and women, we conduct ourselves the way men want ourselves to be conducted. When you go out into society, you are now forced to conduct yourselves how women want you to conduct yourself. You know, how you got to be a little bit softer, a little bit nicer, a little bit more kind, a little bit more gentle, a little less in the way, a little less vocal. It's that. So we get into these situations, these global situations of, who the fuck do you answer to? Because it seems like I feel like we should be answering to the American government, but I really fucking feel like the American government is answering to China and Israel.
I mean, it's hard to say no, they're not. I mean, again, you want to say, yeah, they're not, but at the same time, they make it very hard to be like, how are they though?
Yeah.
And it's one of those, like, this goes back to the first one, accepting reality. Some problems really don't have solutions to it. Like, at the end of the day, we're humans. anger is always going to be a part of human nature. It is what it is. It's always going to be there. But change, everyone wants change now. I want change quickly. I want change now. That's why there's so many weight loss drugs, Ozempic, all this crap. Everyone goes to the gym thinking I'm going to change in a month. And then they don't, and then they cancel it, and there they are. But like, change comes slowly. It's gonna come from our kids and their kids. You know, I remember talking way back in the day about fucking legalizing pot. Here we are, it's 25 years later, if not a little bit more, and it's really starting to look like, hey, this is possibly going to happen, like, worldwide. And like, this is one of those, like, you need to kind of set the roots with the youth, with those kids in high school now, because they're the ones that are going to make that change. We're dying off. Our, you know, the people above us, they're losing it, and we're next in line.
I think our generation, like, again, for everybody that's listening, we're in our early 40s. I'm 42. I don't know how old you are, but
I'm 42.
But the entire course of change moving into the future is going to depend on our generation, because our parents, we're going to be honest with you, you guys fucked this all up. The reason the whole entire fucking country that we live in answers to China and Israel is because you motherfuckers didn't say a fucking thing when Clinton lived the 35-year fuse on manufacturing. When he sent all the fucking manufacturing to China, nobody fucking said anything. If you guys would have stood the fuck up and started boycotting shit then, we wouldn't be in this situation now. But now that we are in this situation, it's easy to point the fucking finger. It's easy to play the blame game. It's easy to just get into this cycle of bitches. You know, bitching, like, oh, you fucking did this, and then they'll bitch at you, and then you bitch at them. Nobody's coming up with a solution. So the solution is the same solution for the silent majority. It's the same solution as racism, right? If you want to get rid of fucking racism, you fucking just start talking about what racism really is, why it exists. Start accessing those data points that are down in there that are so icky that nobody wants to touch them, and get them out on the table. Put them out on the fucking table so everybody can see them. Everybody can talk about them. Everybody sees everybody's shortcomings and idiosyncrasies and character flaws. And we can discuss this shit, because every single fucking race of people has character flaws. Every single generation of people, no matter what color or gender you are, has character flaws. These character flaws are built into us by our surrounding societal environments. And that changes. So if we want that to change in a positive direction, all we have to do is we have to learn from the past, if not only to start standing up and speaking up for what we believe in. We've been seeing people starting to stand up more and more and more on the conservative side, because they've been standing up for 20 years on the left side screaming. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how many people are going to fucking stand up. Because, again, I have very little faith in humanity, because I always quote this: everybody wants to be in front, but nobody wants to lead. It's always the guy that gets in the fast lane and then does the speed limit, and then can't figure out why the fuck you're riding his ass. Like, this is the kind of people we are. As soon as people start speaking up, the fucking moment these motherfuckers get a little bit of negative pushback, they're done. I see it all the time. I go to people's Instagram pages and Facebook pages. You see the last post they put was 2 years ago, and you look at the comments, it was because it was all negative.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go back to cancel culture 1 second. Like, that is a play not by people. That is a play by the government and people running the shit. Because, like, comedy is such a fucking tool. It is such a fucking great, useful tool, because if I can make fucking jokes about everybody and anything, and I get it out in the open, and guess what? Everyone's laughing at it. That's pretty fucking powerful. It takes that harshness and it kind of dulls it down, waters it down more and more and more. And, you know, when comedians, when cancel culture started, it really started with comedians. And once they started kind of poking fun at some of those hard topics that we're not supposed to touch at all, they were like, Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 12, and Channel 2, you guys need to go after that guy.
Yeah.
You guys need to be outraged about that.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And then the studios and everybody was like, nope, we're done. Yep. Sorry, man. You said something stupid. You got to go. And it was like, but who cares if he said something stupid? He's a fucking comedian.
I thought we were supposed to be able to say whatever the fuck we wanted, even if it was stupid, even if it was racist, even if it was sexist, even if it was narcissistic, even if it was misogynistic, even if it was anything. We were supposed to be able to say what the fuck we wanted. And you know what pisses me off? I'm sorry, I'm on a fucking tangent now. You know what pisses me off about this fucking free speech shit is I hear all these motherfuckers that I admire and I respect on the fucking internet talking about free speech, but they still put limits on it. They still put limitations on it. I was just listening to a fucking guy. I'm not going to name him. I really want to fucking say his name because I love the dude. I really do. But he says some really fucking dumb shit now and then, and today was no different. He was talking about free speech and how it was all encompassing and how you're supposed to be able to say anything, but then he offered this caveat of, well, if you're going to make rules, I mean, I understand that, you know, certain rules have to be in place. Like you can't say the hard R's and this. No, yes, you fucking can. That's the whole fucking point of free speech. If I want to go into a fucking black nightclub and use hard R's, that's my own dumbass decision. There shouldn't be a rule against it. It should be the fucking society shuts you down. Society teaches you the rules of how you're supposed to fucking act. Not some fucking person in an office somewhere taking fucking $100,000 a year or plus of my tax money to tell me what I'm not allowed to fucking do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I like to go back to like when they designed this country. Like, dude, those are some fucking geniuses. I gotta say, those are some smart motherfuckers. But
kinda,
I think,
kinda, because there's some truth there that most people don't know. But kinda,
no, I'm sure.
For the sake of argument, I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot there. But I think the idea of free speech in their mind was, dude, we shouldn't be filtering anything because that's my opinion. Jim over here might have a different opinion. John over there has a different opinion. Who's going to lead that censorship? Who's going to say what's right and wrong? If I'm saying this is right, he's saying that's wrong. He's saying I don't really care. Yeah, like it's. I mean, at the end of the day, free speech is free speech. You're supposed to be able to say whatever the fuck you want to, and nobody in power should tell me. But hey, man, if I say something to the wrong person, I had that coming then.
Well, you kind of get into that whole female thing where, you know, they've gotten into their head that they're bulletproof. So now we as people, when it comes to speech, you know, some of us believe that free speech makes us bulletproof. Like, no, you shouldn't be able to fucking punch me in the face because this is just words. Well, for every action, there's a fucking reaction. For every fucking action, there's a consequence. And the consequence is you get punched in the fucking face for saying dumb shit sometimes. Well, we are now in a fucking state of shock and panic because I think we're all we've all become women in the sense of this equality movement. Okay, it's not really going the way women wanted it to go. This equality movement, what they really wanted was they wanted to get paid like a man and treated like a lady. That's what they're calling equality, but what they're getting is beaten in the street. What they're getting is punched in the fucking face for saying dumb shit. What they're getting is doxxed on the internet for posting a video about how men should be giving up their fucking seat. That's not equality. We're all in a state of fucking shock now because some of us feel like we shouldn't be punished for saying what we say. Some of us feel like we shouldn't be saying what we want to say. Some of us aren't saying anything at all. And when we all kind of meet in the middle, it's kind of like drunks and stoners. Like we really just don't get along. I'm a stoner. I don't really get along with drunks that much because I think you're not even in control of your body or your mind. And no matter how fucking baked I get, I'm full control. Like, I can't deal with you. So you get into this, that's where you get into this forced unity. Now you get the higher ups, another psyop, like, let's give everybody free speech. Let's have everybody say everything they want. We'll put you all together as tight as you can possibly be. That's not natural. It's just not natural for us to be living how we're living. It's not natural for this forced unity. It's just not natural for us as people to be one large tribe. It's more natural for us to be many tribes. When you look at things like prison, if you really want to know how people operate, it's prison. When you go into prison, you see black dudes are over there, Peckerwood's over, white guys are over there, fucking Mexicans are over there. Everybody's separated because that's the way fucking shit stays happy. Mm-hmm. What they do is the powers that be, we'll call them, they get everybody on social media, and then they start feeding this person the shit they don't want to hear. Then they start feeding this person the shit they don't want to hear. And pretty soon now these two people are fighting about some shit that they could be talking about. They could be having a normal conversation about, but because somebody got fucking triggered, because that's a word now, the whole thing went to shit.
Yeah, I mean, it at the end of the day, all that comes back to, if I can get them pissed off at each other and stay pissed off at each other, they can't get pissed off at the right things. They can't get pissed off that they can't say what they should be saying. They can't be pissed off that they can't have those hard conversations that people should be having. And, they're people are just pissed off at the wrong things because they've made it so.
Oh, absolutely. And again, it's all part of the system. If you get people dumber, we'll look at the education system, and we are going to absolutely fucking shred the educational system and every single person that's a part of it in this show. So we're going to set that up now, because motherfuckers ain't going to like that. If you're a teacher, if you're a principal, if you're a superintendent, if you are anything having to do with schools, I promise you, you're not going to appreciate what I have to say about it, because it's all fucking real, and it's all shit you don't want to access in your own mind. You don't want to acknowledge it. You don't want to admit that you're part of the machine that is killing this fucking country. I digress. When it comes to educational system, they fuck me so bad. And I see what they've done to this country. I see what they're doing to this country, and they're making it worse and worse and worse. But that's another topic for another show. Mm-hmm. But again, it does lead back to the silent majority. What happened when our schooling, when we were in 8th grade and everything changed? What did our parents say? Oh, I don't understand this. You're going to have to get help from a tutor. They didn't go to the school and say, why the fuck did this change? How come 2 + 2 is 4, but it's not 4 anymore? It's 4, but you have to do it this other way that gets 6 first, that you have to divide. And why didn't our parents say, oh, it's because it's fucking silent majority. Now, here, I know we've shredded the silent majority on this episode a lot. So I will offer one caveat. It is difficult in this society, in American society, for the last a lot of years. It's been difficult to, at times, maintain a moral standard and make life happen. When you got a lot of fucking kids, I get it. I'm a big one. I'm a big one for, if you got a lot of fucking kids, you shouldn't have a lot of fucking kids if you can't fucking afford them. That makes you a piece of shit. But let's say you got a lot of fucking kids that you can't afford, or you can barely afford. It's really fucking easy to just put all your political fucking biases on standby until you make the money to fucking put the food on the table. Mm-hmm. And then by the time you put the food on the table, you're too fucking tired to give a shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've drummed up all this, materialistic stuff and all this stuff that just wears you down. I mean, debt, credit cards, like, that's the fucking worst thing in the world. No. Let's just fucking make everyone in debt. That sounds like a great idea.
And you have to be in debt to get a good credit score.
Exactly.
Well, how come when I had 0 debt, I didn't have 850 credit? How come when I had 0 debt, I had 380 credit? Yeah.
I didn't have any cards. How come my credit wasn't higher? Why wasn't it fucking perfect? Because I've never fucked up.
Right.
Like, it's such a facade, and it's just such bullshit. Like, that system needs to be reset too, but a topic for another day. But, again, that goes back to, hey, if I can keep them dumb and worn out, they can't fight back.
Yeah. I can keep them dumb. I keep them worn out. I keep them working too hard for not enough money. I keep them in a mental haze. Guys,
it's like a loan shark.
Yeah.
It's exactly like a loan shark. Hey man, I need $1,000. All right, well, you're gonna need $1,500 to pay me back. And I mean, they're just gonna borrow from there to get it to me, and then they're going to come back and be like, I need it more because I saved everything I had to give to you, so I need some more. And they keep you under your thumb.
Now, guys, let's bring this back around. We're pushing a little over an hour. The whole idea, every show, we want to offer some solutions. And the solution to fixing the fucking problems that we have in the world now, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out and grab a fucking PA system or a bullhorn and fucking address crowds of people in the city. Just merely speak up and stand up for the opinions you hold. If you don't believe that fucking women that have cocks should be in the bathroom with your daughter, stand up for that. It doesn't matter if somebody gets mad. If you don't believe that the educational system should be doing Common Core, teaching fucking critical race theory, stand up against it. Speak up against it. Nobody's asking you to stand up against every single cause on earth. You can't do that, but you can at least stand up for the fucking causes you believe in. Stop being the silent majority, because the silent majority is what's putting the fucking violent minority in power.
Yep. That's the plan. That's their ultimate plan. And if you don't just talk, it doesn't have to be screaming. Just fucking talk.
Yeah. And you would be shocked to know, for all of you people out there, that you go to post online, you go to post that opinion, and then you pull back. You type it out and then you delete it and you change it a little bit. You delete it and you change it a little bit and delete it, and then you're like, I'm just not going to put it up. Put it up. You will be astounded to see how positive of a reaction you get when you stand up authentically for what you believe in. Mm-hmm. People, they tell you that they're going to fight you. They tell you, if you put that online, everything's going to be fucked up and you're going to get canceled. Everybody's going to hate you, blah, 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 blah. Don't do it. But it's not the way it works. Next time you get that opinion, post it.
Yeah, and just articulate it. Don't try not to put so much emotion into it. Just hey, this is my opinion on XYZ. It shouldn't be like this.
Try that, guys.
That's all you got to do.
Try that, guys. Just next time you have that opinion, next time you have that thought chain, next time you have that question, next time you have that topic for a hard conversation, post it. Put it up there. You got any last words for this topic, Mikey?
I think we've covered them all, man. I mean, silent majority, that's what got us here. Everyone's a silent majority in some way, shape, or form. The only way to make that different is to not be the silent majority anymore.
And a good way to do that, guys, if you don't want to be part of the silent majority anymore, is to at least stand up for who's standing up. Speak up for who's speaking up. Stand behind who is saying what you want to be said. And you can do that by following us at Savagely Loud Podcast on Instagram. You can follow me, my personal self, my personal content, my personal development content on Savagely Loud. It's not Savagely Loud Podcast. It's Savagely Loud. And Mikey, where can they find you? Oh, also, you can find me at Clifford Moore III on Facebook. We always go through the Savagely Loud. Clifford Moore III on Facebook fucked me up. But it is Clifford Moore III, same profile picture on Facebook.
Yep. Mikey Wold on Facebook, Woldy2 on Instagram.
Beautiful. Now, as we close the show, we love to close the show with a fucking something to bring us up a little bit. We've gotten down in the trenches. We want to bring ourselves up. We want to make ourselves a little happier. So we got this segment called Hopelessly Human, and it starts a little bit like
people can be really rough. They can be quite tough. They can get in the way, but at the end of the day, some aren't only stupid, some are hopelessly human.
And for our Hopelessly Human segment today, Mikey, what you got for us?
All right. So this is to give everyone hope that humanity is not dead. So this year in November, a woman gave part of her kidney or her liver to a 1-year-old boy who was needing a liver transplant like now. She met with him in November just to kind of see how he's doing. Like, hey, it's that humanity part of it. Like, meet the person that saved your life. Have the family meet the person that saved his life. Yeah, she was a living organ donor, so they just kind of took part of the liver. She knew about liver transplant. She was passionate about that because her husband herself needed a liver transplant and got one in 2022. So she paid it forward and saved the life of a 1-year-old.
That's fucking awesome. That is so awesome. And you know what's so crazy is that the liver, I think, isn't the liver the only self-replicating organ we have? Like you can get a piece of it and then it'll become a fucking full liver in a couple of months.
Yeah. It'll kind of heal itself. But I mean, again, that's one you can't live without too.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty fucking selfless.
And it's such a fucking invasive procedure
Yes.
to be the donor. That's a lot of mental stress, emotional stress, physical pain. Oh my God, I can only imagine.
But I guess she heard about the 1-year-old diagnosed with biliary atresia, impacts liver function. His only option was a life-saving liver transplant, and this lady heard about it and said, "I'm going to do something about it," and selflessly did that. And then they met the family, and that's just a cool, heartwarming story.
Yeah, she needs a round. She needs a round of applause. I'll give her a second one. What a great way to end the show. That was a great segment, dude. Great job. I love it. We're gonna just end the fucking show. We'll do it like Rogan does. Okay, bye.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, people. Guys, we appreciate you being here. We will be back weekly. We are going to we'll post once we have finalized the posting schedule of the show schedule. Again, Savagely Loud on Instagram, Savagely Loud Podcast on Instagram, 2 different pages. Woldy2 on Instagram, Mikey Wold on Facebook, and Clifford Moore III on Facebook.
Yep. And the Hopelessly Human articles and links and everything will be posted on Instagram as well.
Oh, I forgot you were going to do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
It's so nice being with somebody that actually wants to take an active role and actually do shit.
Yeah, dude.
Everything I've ever been involved with that was outside of my fucking wife, I had to hold their motherfuckers' hands to get them to do anything. Like, hey, you know, you could think on your own. Just today.
Well, I mean, hey, man, people can go back to it. They can see the videos.
Yeah.
They can see the article. Like, dude, come on.
Yeah, it's good to get some happy shit up there, guys.
Yep.
Take care of yourselves. Don't be a shithead. We'll see you later. All right, and we're out.